What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cash It. That's right. Howard Bender, Adam Ronis, the ultimate of podcasts, all sports podcasts. We're here courtesy of fantasyalarm.com and Spotlight Sports Group. And listen, this is just such a crazy time. Happy New Year to everybody. I know that, Adam and I, we took a little hiatus from for the holidays. Adam went away. I was mired in misery myself without him, but, nevertheless, we are back and we're ready to go. What is up, Adam Ronis? Happy New Year. Happy holidays, dude.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well. Glad to be back. So yeah, it's been a crazy week already.
How was your time away?
Well, I didn't go away.
I know you time away from work, dude. Did you enjoy yourself at all?
Not at all, dude. It went so fast. It felt like I wasn't even off. I don't know if you felt the same way. It felt like I didn't even have any time off. I turned around. I'm like, oh, I got to be back to work. I'm like, wait, was I off? Did you feel the same?
It's insane. I felt the exact same way.
I am not joking. It did not feel I was like off at all. That's how fast it went.
I'm not rested one bit. And on top of it, I'm sure that you've kind of seen it a little on social media. Northern California is flooding. We're taking rain like we haven't seen in decades. And it's crazy. And my wife and I, we live right by a creek, which has flooded and overflowed. And so I've already lost there's massive property damage, fences, torn down by just giant, a river of just water just flowing through. And I'm sitting there trying to help out, with, the neighborhood. So I'm tits deep in the water, fishing debris out and of the creek so that we don't have any blockages and this and that. And then all of a sudden, then I'm like, oh, okay. And now I got to go watch football games. And, I got to go back outside now. And, I'm going to go watch a football. I did not feel rested at all. I'm with you 100%. We need vacations from our vacations.
Yes, I agree.
Should we just take it off? Should we just skip this?
Yeah, you know what? It's a good idea. You know what? Let's take it.
Come on, we're here.
We gave a good 5 minutes. A lot of men can't do that.
That is 100% true. I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? Listen, sometimes it's like I say to my wife. Sometimes these are just for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If I brought the A game every time, well, then you wouldn't appreciate the A game as much.
I'm not married and I'm not in a relationship, so I have to bring the A game to get the next opportunity and get them hooked.
Yeah. Because we all know that a bad reputation spreads a lot quicker than a good reputation.
That is true. Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, man. So how's this for the tail end of 2022? It's just your vacation sucks. My vacation sucks. Everything going into the New Year's, I had to cancel my trip to New York and was just here for, again, I'm thankful that I was here for the natural disaster that occurred and feel good about that. But nevertheless, as 2023 starts up, we're back in the shit again here, Adam. And it's not even our fault, but again, I will always say this. It's always about people first, and it is about health first. And now, right now here, as we record on Thursday, January the 5th, and we have the latest updates that Damar Hamlin has shown considerable improvement, that he is conscious and alert and is communicating via the written word right now. And we are definitely in a much better spot with Damar Hamlin now than we, obviously was before. But everything, so we can kind of look at that and say thankful, and be thankful for that. But we can also start talking real here about the impact in the fantasy football world with they haven't even canceled this Bills-Bengals game. I expect them to, but nevertheless, dude, it has turned the fantasy community completely upside down.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be canceled. That was a report today. That's not official from the NFL, but it looks like they are not going to continue it. So Yeah, I mean, look, I'm fortunate that in my situation as commissioner, it's not that bad. I know others are going to be in a real difficult spot, and there's no one solution. I call on people to be reasonable here. I know there's money involved, but you have to understand the circumstance. We've been through this a little bit with COVID-19, and I'm all for one, like rules are rules, but with COVID, I did, and you were in the league too. I like, hey, put on the message board. If this guy plays, he's in my lineup. If the game gets canceled, I'm going with this guy. That was not in the rules before the year, but you have to be reasonable. This is something that no one could have prepared for as far as rules. I know maybe in the high stakes leagues, they probably have some language written in there, but the bottom line is, I mean, I'll just go based on what my situation so far. So the flex league, which is not for money, you get like a belt. I was down 8.2 going into Monday night Bills Bengals with Jamar Chase, half point PPR. I'm pretty sure I was going to win, but we saw Justin Jefferson have a shit game, right? So it can happen to anyone. So on the message board, they were like, your boy Jake Silly is the commissioner. He's like, hey, I'm going to leave it up to Joe and Adam. First of all, commissioners shouldn't do that. You don't leave it up to people. But anyway, so Joe's like, hey, Adam was probably going to win based on projected points, but you never know because he had Justin Jefferson. He brought that up, but I'm good with co-champs. I said we should probably wait to see what happens, but I don't want to make it more complicated, so I'm good with co-champs. They said we're co-champs. Cool. I think all the other flex leagues were already decided. No big deal. My home league, two of my best friends. One is up 21 points. He has T. Higgins. The other guy has Dawson Knox. Anything could happen. I'm pretty sure that the team with Higgins was going to win. So I'm going to, once it's officially canceled, say, all right, he's the champ. The GST leagues, which you're in, Tim Heaney already lost to, I think it's Joe, I believe, from Brooklyn. So that one I don't need to worry about. The other league that I'm in, Billy Hayes is trailing Tony by 60.7. He has Josh Allen and Diggs. Tony has Burrow. Pretty sure that Billy's not going to win there, right? I mean, even if you give Diggs 30 and Josh Allen 30, Burrow already threw a touchdown anyway. So, and the overall champion, it looks like Dave Martinez had a big week. So I'm just going to basically say, hey, game doesn't count. And once it's official, and crown the champions as is. But I know there are leagues where people have Allen and Diggs going, and it's a 4-point game. And so those are the difficult ones. I guess my recommendation.
I mean, they're difficult. They're difficult in the sense that, and I literally just had this argument with one of my best friends, and I said to him, I was like, listen, I get what everybody's saying. I was down by 5 and I had Josh Allen still going. Okay, yeah.
He actually got hurt in the game, if you remember.
So what I said was, I was like, yes, you know what? Yes, if you were to say that, Josh Allen plays the rest of this game and is fine, and he'll easily surpass 5 points. Josh Allen's, average points per game in this league fantasy-wise was like 26 or whatever the case may be. I get that. But you cannot tell me that there is not a chance that Josh Allen gets sacked and concussed and knocked out of the game. Not that maybe he gets jelly-legged and then somebody from New York says, put Allen in the blue tent. And they say in the blue tent that he's still not ready to go out there. Like those things can and have happened.
I mean, look at the performances of Hopkins and Justin Jefferson in the last 2 weeks.
Right. But I'm just saying, you can't say to me,
right,
well, I had these guys still to go and we were winning. We were getting ready to win. We were going to overtake. Yes, you were. And if things went fine.
Did you decide to split the pot? Was that the decision made?
Oh, there was nothing in this league for money. That was the
oh my God, really?
Thing.
And they're getting it's just bragging rights?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Please see, I have a problem with that. Like, don't get worked up. Like I said, the flex league, I didn't make a big deal about it. I mean, yeah, I want to win because I played Joe Pisapia, who beat me a few years ago. And of course, I blame Joe for this because on Sunday night, before the games were even over, I think even before the Raiders game went to overtime, because he had Jacobs picked up a few more points, he goes, vengeance is yours. Congratulations, Adam. So it's all his fault. because he did that intentionally, and then some unforeseen circumstance occurred. So I blame Joe for that. So I want to win. You know me, I hate to lose, but at the same time, you got to be reasonable here. And it's like, all right, do I think I would have won? I'm pretty sure Chase would have had more than 8.2. That was shaping up to be a high scoring game. But you know what? Even if money was if money was on the line and they said, hey, split the pot, I think you have to live with it. You can't get worked up here, man. There's the high stakes leagues. It's even worse, man. I mean,
I know. It's
listen, bad.
My feeling is just chop the pot.
Yes,
Stop with the nonsense of what could have, should have, would have, whatever. Just chop the pot. It's an unfortunate situation, and let's move on with it. This is not a time to sit here and quibble over, whatever, any amount of money. I don't care if it's $200 or if it's $2,000, right? I mean, just chop the pot. Make it like keep it simple, because unless you have a commissioner who dolled up a beautiful constitution during COVID time and said, this is what happens if games are canceled or whatever, then you have to go with what's going on right now. You can't. It's very, very, it's very frustrating. You see what they're doing in the FSGA?
Yeah, man, I disagree with it.
I 100% disagree with it, man. I'm like, you're changing matchup. For those of you who don't know, so the FSGA said that if they play the game, then the stats will count. If they don't play the game, then any players that you had from the Bills or the Bengals in your starting lineup, you'll get their points from week 18 games. So now it's Bills hosting the Patriots, and it's the Bengals hosting the Ravens, and those are the points that now you get. To me, that's fucked up in the sense that you're changing the matchups, you're changing strategies, everything like that.
Right. I mean, if in that situation, if you knew Devin Singletary was facing New England, you might be like, you know what? I'd rather have Zach Moss against the Texans, and you don't have that chance to make that change. So, yeah, I mean, someone suggested like projected points. Nope, you can't do that. So, yeah, I look. I think each individual commissioner has to come up with something that's fair. If the games are really close, split the pot. Like in the situations I gave, I don't think those games are that close. I mean, I know someone could say, oh, you're being subjective, it's a close call, but Dawson Knox had 21 points one time this year. So say he gets 21. T. Higgins is not going to get 1 or 2 catches. I mean, I think you have to be reasonable in some sense. And even with the Josh Allen Diggs, you're down 60.7 with those two, and the other guy has Burrow. Come on.
Well, here you go. Let me ask you this, Adam. In our league, in the FSGA, I'm up 49 and change. He's got Josh Allen and T. Higgins.
It's Matt Deutsch of Better Sports Network, and we had him on the show, and I do think he had a reasonable shot to win.
I definitely think that he had a reasonable shot to win. I'm not disputing that he didn't have a reasonable shot to win. What I'm saying is that now we're looking at different matchups.
And it's probably more favorable for you, I would say, these matchups. Don't you think so?
I would definitely say that. I think that these are more favorable for me. Yeah. But see, all right, see, and here's the thing. So I had a quote yesterday that I gave to everybody, a little food for thought at the end of the Fantasy Alarm show. The exact quote, I can't remember. It was from Richard Bach, who's, one of my absolute favorite authors, saying that, your conscience is the measurement of how honest you are about your selfishness. Right. And it's a bit of a thinker for some, but it is 100% true. Everybody's selfish. Everybody is. You are, I am, everybody in this world is selfish. All right, fine. Maybe there's somebody out there who's just the most altruistic person in the world. Whatever. Like Jesus is walking the world somewhere, doing all sorts of great things for people, and that happens. But the bottom line is that everybody in this world is selfish, and nobody is sitting there, talking about how to solve these problems from a completely objective point of view.
Well, I am. I'm not involved in any of these championships.
Well, see, I am also because and I am involved in one of these championships. I don't think that this is. I mean, listen.
Well, I agree. I agree with you. I don't like the way they're handling it. And I'm being objective too. I'm not in it. I don't think that was the correct solution. What did you want them to do for the FSGA in this situation? What would you have liked them to do?
I would have done for that with them exactly what the FFPC is doing, what RT Sports is doing, any of the high stakes leagues. What they are doing is, if the game gets played, then fine. If not, it ends.
Right, and that's essentially, and that's what I'm doing, basically.
Right. So there you go. Like, I get it, man. And I said it for the leagues that I commission. I say, if they play the game, then those points will happen. But to sit there and say, if they do this and they do that, because here's the thing also, if they play the game, if they turn around, they're like, you know what, we're going to create a week 19.
Right.
Week 18 is going to go.
I thought they might do that, because I'm fascinated to see what they're going to do, because this changes the complexion of the playoffs.
But so the game being played could, not only does this whole thing change the complexion of the playoffs in the AFC, okay, but if you play this game after week 18, there's no guarantee that you're going to get any of the starters there, because shit could already be determined. Like all of a sudden, and then
it's very unlikely that game is.
If the Chiefs win,
right?
Okay, if they win this next game, and let's say Buffalo and Cincinnati, let's say they lose.
Well, then, yeah, in that situation, but then in that case, you wouldn't even play the game.
Well, you say that they wouldn't, but they have to make this decision before the first kickoff on Saturday.
Right, but it's almost over certain they're not playing the game. And then you're hearing, well, they might go with adding the 8th playoff team is ridiculous. That's the
dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That cannot happen.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all, because the Titans rested guys last week. If they had known this situation, they wouldn't have. So That's out the window. I think it's ludicrous. I don't know who threw that out there. Then there's like, oh, well, they could play the AFC at a neutral site, or they give Kansas City a choice of a bye or a home. Like, what are we doing? You can't make these changes, bro. What the fuck? So, yeah, I mean, that's why I was like, all right, you know what? Maybe they'll play it in week 19, give everyone else off, or have the NFC wild card week 19 with that Bengals-Bills game, give the NFC off the next week, let the AFC play. So I was like, okay, I can see those alternatives. You don't need the week off between the Super Bowl and the conference championships, but I know there's travel involved. That city makes a lot of money. So there's a lot of logistics that go into it, but I don't see how, like, the Bills are getting screwed here, because if they don't play the game and go, we're going on winning percentage, the Chiefs get the number 1 seed because they played one more game and won, when the Bills beat the Chiefs, and the Bengals also had a shot to get the 1 seed as well. Obviously once Kansas City wins this week, they can't. But Kansas City could lose. But yeah, so I'm very intrigued to see what the NFL does here, because it sounds like they are not playing the game. So how are they going to handle this? Because having that 1 seed and home field advantage is a huge, huge deal.
Dude, the NFL, you know how they're going to handle it? Whatever makes them the most money. That's how they're going to handle it.
Okay, but so the team, if you do a neutral site, then the teams lose money.
The teams don't lose the money. The NFL still makes the money.
But
they got the revenue. I'm sure.
But they're talking about
if they play at a neutral site, Adam.
Indianapolis is one of the neutral sites. So
I'm sure if they play it at a neutral site, that the NFL is going to kick some revenue from that game back to the original.
But
teams.
Not enough.
Not enough, but still, that's what's going to be.
I don't know.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm still hot about the NFL using Detroit Green Bay in the night game.
I said it too on my show. Fucking ridiculous. It's all about fucking Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay. I hope Green Bay fucking loses. Nothing would be better, because these networks and everyone's ready for the coronation of Rodgers. Oh, look at Green Bay. They were dead and buried. And now it makes no sense for a multitude of reasons. Number one, Seattle and Detroit have got to play at the same time. If you compare about competitive balance, you did it in all the other games. Now you don't, because if Seattle wins at 4, Detroit has nothing to play for. Now, I do think Detroit will go out there and play hard under Campbell. They want to finish with a 9-8 record, a winning season. But it's human emotion, man. I don't care who you are. You're pumped up to play a game, and you look at a scoreboard and you see Seattle wins, and your playoff hopes are done. I don't care who you are. Yep. That's deflating. So it's going to have an effect. Jacksonville, Tennessee should be the Sunday night game. Automatically, both teams have something to play for. You cannot say that about the other games. And Tennessee played Thursday. I got into an argument with someone on Twitter about this. Tennessee played Dallas Thursday night in week 17. Tennessee gets 8 days rest for this game. Jacksonville gets 5. The guy's like, well, that's Jacksonville's fault for not resting their starters. Tennessee made the smart move. So now we're rewarding people for resting starters? Like, come on, man. And Jacksonville and Tennessee deserve the spotlight. And it's not even that. That's not a good enough argument. The point is both teams have something to play for. The winner is in, the loser's out. I know there's an outside shot Jacksonville can get in as a wild card. We all know that's probably not going to happen. That should have been a Sunday night game. But they clearly want Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay in prime time. You cannot say anything otherwise.
Well, but you could have – no. It's not just that they want them in prime time.
Put them Saturday night.
They want them in the playoffs.
Well,
right?
that too,
If you just want them in prime time, then you put Detroit, Green Bay on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then those two teams are and their entire fan bases are locked into the Seattle game, because if Seattle wins, they're in. If they're not, then whoever won that fucking game. Well, no, actually, Lions are just dead anyway with the. Oh no, if Seattle loses,
if Seattle loses and Detroit wins, they're in.
And Detroit had won that game. So there you go. So that's what it is right there. So Seattle ends up playing the we win, we're in, and that bumps out Detroit. Sorry, guys. If we lose, then you're all in on your Packers or whatever. Either way,
yeah, they want to coronate the Packers on Sunday night and laud Aaron Rodgers, which I am hoping Detroit beats them. It would be so good. And Aaron Rodgers talking shit too the last few weeks. Like, come on, man, you got fortunate that the NFC picture. The NFC's not that good and everything broke your way. Like, get out of here, man. So, I am rooting for Green Bay to lose. Nothing would be better than for Detroit. And Detroit's played better than them this year.
Oh, my God. Much better. Much better.
Yeah, but I was so disgusted when I saw that. I'm like, come on, man. It should be Jacksonville, Tennessee. Like, the NFL's manipulating things. Because, I mean, last year they did it with Raiders, Chargers, right? And what did they do? They put it in prime time. That's the same scenario with Jacksonville, Tennessee. I get it. It's not like Tennessee's look bad, but it's still going to be a big game, obviously. And I want to see Trevor Lawrence in the spotlight. I mean, come on, man. Forget about Aaron Rodgers. Put that game Saturday. That's what they should have did. They should put Green Bay, Detroit Saturday. Detroit knows they still have to play for something because they don't know the Seattle result, like you said. Do that. It's ridiculous, man, but I'm not surprised. It's the NFL.
It's the NFL. And it's as depressing as it is, that's who they are. So, yeah, like everybody's like, whatever makes the NFL the most money, that's really that's the only thing that you can rely on when it comes to the NFL.
Do you think, though, that the ratings would be that much different for Green Bay, Detroit versus Jacksonville, Tennessee? It's a must-win game.
Yes, I think because it's Aaron Rodgers, you get more mainstream. You put Jacksonville and Tennessee into that, Sunday night thing, and you lose ratings.
I saw that last year's Raiders Chargers was one of the most highly rated games. That Sunday night.
Because Raiders have a fan base that's like all over the place. Besides Las Vegas, you got the LA area.
Chargers don't.
You got the whole Bay Area.
Chargers don't.
No, the Chargers don't. But they had a much more exciting team to watch.
But I think that was more what's at stake. I really do. It's the last week of the season. That's what you want. Win, you're in. Lose, you go home. I mean, everything is on the line.
Dude, listen, I agree. You know me. I'm It's just so aggravating. I threw a penalty flag on the show about it. It's just crazy. You know, what I think is even crazier is how many people are blind to what's going on. Like, I get it. I work in the industry and I'm supposed to do that, but like for the general public to not see how the NFL is manipulating certain things. I'm not saying everything's all scripted like the WWE, because there are those people who are saying that. Like, you couldn't make a better case for that the NFL is rigged than what they just did here at this point in time.
And then they announced Jacksonville, Tennessee Saturday night, and they're like, oh, we'll wait on the Sunday night game. Stop bullshitting us. We all knew it was going to be Green Bay, Detroit. Where else were you going? Fucking delaying it like, oh, yeah, we got to see. No, you already knew what the decision was.
I don't get it.
Like, where else were you going? You weren't going Baltimore, Cincinnati. That game, fucking both teams were in the playoffs. Who cares about the division? So there was nothing else you were going to do. So just say it right away. We all knew. Once they said Tennessee, Jacksonville Saturday, we're like, Green Bay, Detroit Sunday night. Lock it in.
Lock it in. Oh man, it is. It's aggravating. It really is. But you know, listen, we're gonna all have to move on from everything, so we might as well just move on from this, because nothing's gonna change anybody's mind, and you and I bitching and moaning about it certainly isn't gonna fix things. So, you want to just stick with some NFL? Let's pick these Week 18 debacles of a game.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. We say with such disdain, and I'm with you, man. It's been a long, grueling season, hasn't it?
It definitely has.
And you were looking forward to the time off so that you could power through the playoffs, and now you don't have that.
Sure don't.
Do you need a hug?
Nah, I'm good.
You sure?
All right, fine.
Come here.
That feels good.
The big bear get his paws on. Starting off with Saturday, well, late afternoon, early evening, yeah, whatever you want to call it. Kansas City Chiefs, 9-point favorites over the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs win. They probably lock up home field advantage and the number 1 seed for the playoffs. The Raiders, playing for pride, I guess. Jared Stidham going to be under center again for the Raiders. Who do you like in this one?
I like the Raiders to cover. Stidham was impressive against a staunch 49ers defense last week, and we've talked about it a lot. Mahomes and this Chiefs, they don't cover these big spreads. So I think the Raiders keep this competitive. It's a divisional game. I'm taking the Raiders here, getting the 9.5.
Yeah, there's just something I don't know what it is that's going on with Patrick Mahomes. He just hasn't seemed right the last few weeks. You know, I mean, maybe it's defenses taking Travis Kelce out of the mix a little bit more there, but he just doesn't seem to have that same, he's not throwing the ball deep. He's just kind of doing what it takes to kind of get by, sort of a thing. I mean, I do think that this could be a little bit of a trap in the sense that everybody's like, well, come on, it's the Raiders. They're at home, and Jared Stidham did look great, and 9 points is a lot and whatever, and maybe the Chiefs blow them out. But you throw a game total of 52 at me here, I'm definitely going to take the Raiders with the points. The high total there is not like a giant blowout. That's like a battle. That's like a touchdown difference at the most.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they'll be competitive here. They showed last week. I mean, I was surprised. I mean, they gave the 49ers everything they could handle. I mean, they almost won the game. Had to go to overtime. So Stidham came out, threw the ball well.
The night game, Titans-Jags. This is the game that you and I want to see on Sunday night. It's for all the marbles. Win and you're in. Man, I mean, it's I think the Jags win this game by 6.5. I think they can do it. I'll probably just like, for me, my lean is to take the Jags and lay the points. Because I think that the Jags, all they really need to do is just stop Derrick Henry. And it's not an easy feat, but even if you limit Henry to 100 yards and a touchdown, you can still, really limit, Josh Dobbs and the passing unit there. So I'm on the Jags side here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Titans with the points. I love the Jags. I thought they had a shot to win this division before the year. So I'm happy to see them finish the season strong. We know Tennessee's limping in, but they did rest guys last week, and it's just a lot of points. I'm putting faith in Mike Vrabel here to keep this close. I thought Dobbs threw the ball very well. And Tennessee has more experience in this spot as well. Vrabel as an underdog has been great. I think there's pressure on Jacksonville to win this game. How do they handle it? I think they win, but this total's low too. What is it, like 40?
40,
so
yeah.
I don't think this is. Would I be surprised if Jacksonville blew them out? No, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm rooting for Jacksonville. I don't want to see Tennessee in the playoffs. They're just boring. Let's get Jacksonville in there. They're a fun team. They were great against the run, but they've had some injuries. But I think some of those guys will be back. And we saw Jacksonville beat them in Tennessee 36-22 in week 13. But I just feel like Tennessee's going to do enough to keep it close. So I'm going to take the points.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. You want to go against me like that? You can go against me.
I'm rooting for Jacksonville. I want to see them get in.
I think everybody's rooting for Jacksonville. Yeah. I really do. And you know what? And I'm with you. I love Vrabel. I absolutely love Vrabel. But yeah, everybody wants the Jags to do it. Let's go to Sunday's action. By the way, and I said this the other day on the show. I'm not usually one of those guys who's like, I told you. I said in the preseason to look out for the Jaguars. I invested in a number of them for fantasy. I said what's happening with them, actually getting a legitimate NFL head coach with a system. And I was in on that. So I'm just going to say that I was right, Adam. Okay. Is that all right? Is that cool?
All right. I mean, I was on a show saying put some money on Jacksonville to win the division. So
look at you, motherfucker. I love it.
And I took ETN in a lot of leagues. I thought Kirk was undervalued. I took Lawrence as a backup quarterback. Yeah. So yeah, I like Jacksonville.
Oh yeah.
Took a while for them to get going, but they did it. Let's see if they can finish it off now.
I hope they do. Sunday action. We'll start off Minnesota against the Bears. Vikings on the road. They are a 7.5-point favorite. The Vikings, I don't think they can improve their seeding. Nor do I think they can lose any. I mean, no, actually they can. They can improve their seeding. They can move up to the number 2 spot in the NFC.
The 49ers loss, which they won't know because the 49ers play after them.
Right, exactly. So Minnesota, but they need the win to improve their seeding. If they lose, it doesn't do anything to them. So I think that they at least try to win this game here. Which side do you lean?
Well, so I saw the news that Fields was out and Peterman was starting, so I immediately went to DraftKings Sportsbook, and at the time it was -5.5, and I put money on Minnesota. So I was able to get it in before they moved it, which is rare. They usually lock it pretty quick. And then obviously the line moved to like 8. So I'm on Minnesota. I think mentally they need to finish this season strong. They've had some bad losses recently. And this is more a bet against the Bears. They're just atrocious. They haven't been good with Fields. Now you put Peterman in there. I mean, so he has 3 losses where he's been the quarterback, and he's lost by 30, 32, and 44. So their defense is terrible. Also, the Bears could still get the 1 pick, the number 1, if they win. And I mean, if they lose and the Texans win, they get the 1 pick. So give me the Vikings here.
Vikings and the points is exactly where I'm going as well. You took the scenic route, but we got to the same place. You had me at Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, exactly.
Ravens, 7-point road dog to the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, I to be perfectly honest, I'm not betting any Bengals games or Bills games for the next couple of weeks. Like I won't do it. I'm very curious to see how everybody responds to it. The good part is that that Damar Hamlin is improving, and that's why I'm going to take the Bengals and I'm going to lay the 7 here. But I feel like they want that win. They want their momentum here at the tail end of the season has been unbelievable. Like they look like a totally different team over like the last 5 or 6 weeks, and so I'm in on the Bengals here to make their claim and try and go for that top spot.
Yeah, me too. The Ravens are I think they're averaging like slightly over 11 points per game over the last 4. And it's starting to sound like Lamar Jackson's not playing. He didn't practice again on Thursday. So Bengals are on a roll. I know it's a divisional game, and I hate that. I just think they're way better than the Ravens. Ravens are just so bad. I mean, this is a bad playoff team, man, which is why there's incentive to well, no, okay, I was going to say the Ravens will not be. Yeah, the Bengals will win the division, I guess, with a win, so it won't matter. But yeah, the Ravens are a team you want to face in the playoffs in the AFC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even if Lamar comes back, like people forget, this offense sucked with Lamar too. Lamar had
he was struggling big time also.
He had 3 good games to start the year, and we were up. Lamar Jackson was the pick. What a pick, MVP in fantasy, and it fell apart. So that's why it boggled my mind when people are like, oh, Tyler Huntley, got to get him. I'm like, wait a second. You guys realize Lamar Jackson was doing shit with this team? I know Huntley came in last year and was fine, but like, come on, man. And it's been brutal to watch.
Yeah. Oh, dude, come on. Do you know what it's like for me as a Jets fan, like a knowledgeable Jets fan, to hear everybody talking about how great Mike White is?
Yeah, I know. The backup quarterback's always the hero until they get exposed.
He got exposed last year and people were still buying into it. I was like, can't somebody please just go and take a look at his game log? Yes, he can throw for 400 yards, but he's also going to throw 3 picks with that. Oh my goodness. Patriots, Bills. Here you go. Again, Bills home favorite, 7 points. I don't know. You go first on this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have a strong feel in this game. Like, it's tough to know where the Bills are at. I mean, obviously the Bills are a way better team, but where are they at emotionally, mentally? Mm-hmm. Patriots, one of these teams face each other, and the Bills won by 14 in New England. I'll take the Bills. You know what? I think maybe they stomp them. Give me the Bills. Let's go Bills. I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for the Bills too.
Oh yeah, I think everybody's going to be rooting for the Bills. Well, I mean, listen, no, everybody also wants to see Patriots have an outside shot at that number 7.
Yeah, I don't want to see them get in. They're another.
And nobody wants to see them get it.
Yeah, so, I don't. They're a boring team.
Yes, they are. Stupid Belichick. I'm with you on this one there. Again, I won't bet the Bills, but, here it goes. Steelers hosting the Browns. Steelers have an outside shot at that number 7 seed in the AFC as well. 2.5 point favorite here over the Browns. I'm going to say I'm going to take the Steelers. I think the Browns' run defense is terrible. Najee looks really good in comparison to what he started off the season like. So it goes to show you what a healthy foot will do. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record his entire career. So I'm betting on Mike Tomlin here as well. I feel like you can go with a field goal game here. I know Deshaun's gotten better, and I love Nick Chubb more than anything in the world. I just see the Browns shoot themselves in the foot so many times, and I'm going to take the Steelers and lay the 2.5.
I'm going to take Cleveland. I've been riding Pittsburgh a lot late in the year. But
yeah. So why do that again? Why stick with a winning formula?
Because I think it ends. Division underdog here. It just feels like a letdown spot for Pittsburgh. Watson's been a little bit better. Their defense has played a little bit better over the last few weeks. It's still Kenny Pickett. So I'm going to take the Browns here. Maybe Pittsburgh wins by 1 or 2.
Okay, it's fine. Bucks Falcons. Bucks are a dog by 4.5. Everybody said, just figures that they're going to sit everybody. And listen, Tom Brady needs 390 yards to hit 5,000 for just the third time in his career. Chris Godwin needs 2 catches for his first 100 catch season. He also needs like 32 yards for his second consecutive 1,000-yard season. I mean, I don't think, with the exception of Brady needing 390 yards, I don't think there are any statistical milestones that can't be achieved for these guys inside the first quarter. So that's kind of where we're at here. But how do you take a Falcons team, as disgusting as it is, as a 4.5-point favorite?
Yeah, this game is one I wouldn't touch at all. I don't think the Bucs are going to play their starters much. They're locked in to the 4. So I guess I would take the points, but I wouldn't bet this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet it either. Jets, Dolphins. Jets are a 2.5-point underdog on the road. I don't know. I heard Teddy Bridgewater was seen throwing today with his dislocated pinky. It's a better team. Jets are playing for pride. They're playing to be spoilers here. I gotta tell you, man, I always just want to take the Jets because I think Robert Saleh is that guy who just wants to be such a dick, and he wants to have that like leg up on Mike McDaniel. They both worked together for years. So I'm just gonna take Robert Saleh and the Jets and my 2.5 points.
Yeah, I think I will too, especially if Skylar Thompson is the starting quarterback.
Oh yeah. Skylar Thompson. Panthers Saints. All right, so I wrote this one up for picks wise, so I'll just say it first. I'm taking the Panthers and the points.
Yes, me too.
Okay. I think their offense has definitely been better in recent weeks. Their defense has been solid. Saints defense has been a lot better than it used to be, but their offense is still kind of. I think in a game like this that really just doesn't mean anything, I just like being on the side of getting the points.
Yeah, me too. I think, the Panthers too, I think they are fighting for their coach. It seems like they've turned things around, and I think there's pride at play here. Darnold's played well, DJ Moore. Yes, the Saints defense has played very well lately too. But yeah, I'm going to take the points here with the Panthers.
Yeah, it's the smart move. Another game I wrote up here for picks wise. Houston Texans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. This is just disgusting beyond disgusting. Like I like the under in this game, the under 38 actually. Texans need to lose this game if they want to hold that number 1 pick. They lose this game to the Colts, and that's that. I get it. It's probably Lovie Smith's last game as a Texan. His defense is going to play well for him. Sam Ehlinger is going to be under center. I think the Colts also want to play for Jeff Saturday. So I feel like there's some emotion here, like, incentive-wise for the players, but not enough that there's just not enough talent to put some points up on the board here. And I think that if this one comes down to a field goal and the Colts just win it, and it's a low-scoring game, and the Houston Texans get the number 1 overall pick.
Completely agree. I think the Colts win here. I mean, the Texans have been the better team, but they need to lock up that number 1 overall pick. And I think the Colts will want to get Saturday a win. Ehlinger obviously is playing for his career, so I like the Colts here.
Yeah. All right. Good. Giants, Eagles. Eagles are favored by 2 touchdowns. The Giants have no reason to play any of their starters. They cannot improve their seeding.
Yes, they do.
What do you mean?
Fucking help Dallas get the 1 seed.
Oh, hey, Jim Bowden? Is that you?
No, I was saying, look, the fucking Eagles screwed the Giants a couple years ago. Fucking pay them back. Pay them back.
If they're gonna pay him back, they're gonna have to do it with Matt Breida.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, give me the Eagles, man. I think Hurts plays. But yeah, Giants have nothing to play for. They're locked in the 6. It makes no sense. I know Barkley's like, oh well, I'm gonna go out there if I'm told otherwise. And then reports were, yeah, it looks like the Giants not going to. There's no reason to. They've had injuries this year. They made the playoffs. Sit all your guys.
Yeah, sit them all. Relax. Kudos to Brian Daboll, right?
Hell of a
Definitely,
job, bro.
definitely
Hell of a
Coach of the
job.
Year nomination.
I think so. You know what? I haven't checked lately. Is he the favorite? I haven't. I'm going to go. I don't even know. I haven't checked.
Right now. Check.
I'm going to look. To me, I said this weeks ago when I was discussing it. I don't know if it was on this show, but to me, he was my pick. And some of the candidates obviously have fallen off the map of the last few weeks because McDaniel was up there. He's done. I guess Saleh was up there for a bit. I don't think you put him there anymore. I think Sirianni. But Sirianni with the 2 losses, because a lot of people, he was the favorite a few weeks ago. It is Sirianni still plus 150 on DK Sportsbook. Shanahan plus 200, Daboll plus 300. I would vote for Daboll.
Yeah, definitely. At plus 300, I'm doing that, yes.
But then again, remember, though, this is an award that's voted on. That's the problem. You got, like Sirianni's done a great job, don't get me wrong, but Daboll's done a better job. I mean, they have nothing. He took a quarterback that was turnover prone with no wide receivers, no weapons. And I hate the Giants. So I'm being objective here. It's Daboll to me. If I had a vote, I'm voting Daboll. And it's no disrespect to Sirianni. He's done a great job too, but he has talent. Okay.
Right. He's done it with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Miles Sanders.
Right. And I don't think anyone thought they would be this good. Basically one loss before Hurts got injured. So I understand that, but the Giants were not even supposed to be close to a playoff berth, and they clinched it before week 18. To me, he's the guy. And Shanahan's done a good job as well. It's Daboll to me.
It's Daboll to me too. 100%. Dallas Cowboys 7-point road favorite over the Washington Commanders. Are you taking Dallas with the points?
It scares me a little bit. Like, here's the thing. So Dallas does have something to play for. They can still win the NFC East. They can still win a division. They play the same time as San Francisco and Philly. But if they look up at the scoreboard and see Philly's up 24-7 in the third quarter, they could start sitting guys. And my biggest concern for Dallas right now is their pass defense. It's really bad. I mean, Dobbs looked pretty good against them. And I know it's Sam Howell making his first NFL appearance, but sometimes those guys come out and play well. It is a division rival. I know Washington has nothing to play for. I'd probably take the Cowboys, but I'm kind of scared because, again, I think they could start sitting guys in the third quarter when they look up and see Philly up big. Now, if Philly's not up big, then they're going to play their guys. So it's kind of risky here. This might be a good live betting situation. I think that's what you have this week. There's some good live betting situations. If you read everything going on, you could probably get good numbers.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, and I talked about the scoreboard watching on the regular, and the next game that we're going to talk about is the Cardinals 49ers, which I wrote up for picks wise as well. In the sense that, if you're sitting there and you got the 49ers and you're already sitting Christian McCaffrey likely because he's got an ankle issue. You let Elijah Mitchell, maybe Deebo Samuel knock a little bit of rust off themselves. But, if you go into halftime and, and you're looking at the scoreboard and the Eagles are up, big at the half, you're going to sit your guys. You're going to. So Cardinals plus 14 for me, is the bet that I'm going to make on that one. And, and so I look at the Dallas Washington situation there. If I had to lay the bet, I would probably take the Commanders and the points, even with Sam Howell, just because I do think that Dallas will, McCarthy is that guy who's going to be like, you know what, fuck it, man. Everybody hates me enough. The last thing I want is for somebody to get hurt playing in a game that we don't need right now.
Yeah, and it makes sense at that point, So, yeah, that's the one thing to watch for this week is even though the teams are playing at the same time, they have something to play for. Once they look up at the scoreboard and, see Philly up big, both those teams, San Francisco and Dallas, can start pulling starters.
Yeah, 100%. So you're with me, Cardinals plus 14?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Rams Seahawks. Here you go. The Seahawks win and they're in. But can they do it by more than 6? Rams have been playing some inspired ball. Seahawks have definitely been struggling coming through. I'm rooting for Seattle. I think Seattle can win. Although I do think that I want the Rams in the points.
I do too. Remember, Rams have no incentive here to tank. They don't have a first-round pick. It's a divisional game. Akers is running the ball well.
Yep.
Rams historically have done very well against Seattle, 8-3 in their last 11. Jordan Brooks out for Seattle. That's a big loss. Tyler Lockett's banged up. I just can't take Seattle by this many points. Again, people mistake. Oh, it's a must-win game. Got to take this team. Doesn't always work. A lot of times those teams lose straight up.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I've seen a lot of them lose straight up or just barely by the skin of their teeth. Like, that's the thing. That's why I want to be specific, saying I think the Rams, the Seahawks win this game, but I think that the Rams actually cover that spread. The next one here, this is your favorite. This is your favorite. I'm going to let you go first because these are two teams that I think I would rather get kicked in the balls by somebody wearing like a pointy steel-toed cowboy boot or something like that, than to have to either bet the Chargers or the Broncos. Here we are in Denver. The Chargers could actually lose their seeding if they lost this game to Denver, and the Ravens ended up winning against the Bengals. So got to be careful about that. They need to win the game, but dude, it's the Chargers.
Yeah, what is the line now? Because it's flipped, right?
It's Broncos -2.5.
Yeah, I don't think you could bet this game until you see what happens with the Ravens.
Yes. Correct.
Which is probably why they moved this line because I think the line moved once they announced the time of the game for the Bengals Ravens, right? Yeah, that's when it moves because they didn't announce the time until Wednesday. The Bengals Ravens was not officially at 1 p.m. Eastern until Wednesday.
Right. Yep. Are you taking the Broncos? Well, you just
No.
You know what? You just said it. You just said it like a schmuck. I was like, "Oh, you could take the Broncos?" No, you just said it. You can't bet this game until you know what's going on with the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't do it because the last thing you want to do if the Ravens win, then the Chargers have the incentive, and I can go out. I can look.
Then again, if you think and we both think the Bengals are going to win, then maybe you just take the Chargers getting the points.
What is? Oh, yeah, you could bet that now. What? Let me ask you a question. Ravens win. What do you think this line moves to?
Chargers become favorite again, right?
Yeah, I mean, are you looking at like how much of a like a full 5-point swing, or more than that even?
Probably 4.
So they're a 1.5 favorite then. Yeah, that's crazy. See, you, Ronis. That's why I love you so much. Got that eye for that shit. Detroit, Green Bay. Packers are favored by 4.5. Here's another one. Can't bet this game until we know what happens with Seattle.
This line's going to move, though, too. Because if Seattle wins, I think this moves to 6 or 7, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, I'd probably take Detroit, man.
Detroit with +6 or 7, yes.
Yeah. It's hard to see the Packers losing this game, though. I mean, he's had so much success against Detroit at home. I have the numbers in the Survivor article on fantasyalarm.com. But I am definitely rooting for Detroit.
Again, I think we're all rooting for Detroit. I'm going to start a GoFundMe page to pay for more Pokemon for Jamal Williams.
He's awesome.
Love them so much. I got into that with Bowden today. He was like making fun of him. He's like, really, Pokemon? Not like Madden or Call of Duty? I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do, Jim. I want to unwind from my football career by playing more football on the computer. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I guess I have to stop calling him Jamawful. People are going to get upset with me.
Yeah, they will, man. He's a good dude. His interviews are always fun. He's a fun guy, man. He has fun. And this is also a revenge game for him, too.
Oh, it is. But yeah, it was the last time they played, too. And
it was. He did. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I got to double check this. I think he can set the single season record for rushing touchdowns in Detroit history. I think Barry Sanders had 14, was it? Isn't that what Jamal has now? Let me double check before.
Jamal has 15 right now.
15. Okay. So Barry Sanders had 16 in 91. So he can tie or break it.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
That
makes sense.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
I don't want, dude, come on, man. Barry Sanders deserves to be in that record book, not Jamal Williams.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I agree with you. I'd love to see Barry's name stay in the record books. Jamal, to take some of the sting off, needs just 6 more rushing yards to earn an additional $250,000 in his contract.
Okay, yeah, he'll get that. Wow, he's gonna have 1,000 yards, averaging like 2 yards a carry.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, he's averaging 15 touchdowns. Yeah, they're gonna try and get him to score a touchdown or two.
Yeah, I posted on Fantasy Alarm today all the contract incentives, statistical milestones that people are looking for, all that nonsense.
Yeah, it's good to look at when you're looking at props for this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some very interesting ones. Some very, very interesting ones. You guys out there, you can just go to fantasyalarm.com and check that out. It's free, and it's kind of a nice little helpful tool if you're thinking about playing some DFS this weekend and seeing what some of these guys have. There's a lot of like cool things in there that kind of could tilt you towards using a certain player. I'll tell you, Jacksonville receivers, Christian Kirk and Zay Jones, Adam, these guys could be rich after this game. Like, I mean, Christian Kirk can earn $500,000 with just 2 more catches, and then another $500,000 with 91 receiving yards. Zay Jones can earn $250,000 with 2 more catches, and another $500,000 with 98 receiving yards this week against Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. Lawrence had, I think, 368 last time. You got to beat Tennessee through the air. I do think those guys probably care a little bit more about winning the game and getting to the playoffs. But I'm sure in the back of their mind, they're like, "Hey, let's get these numbers here."
Dude, if they're up multiple scores in the third quarter, I think Trevor Lawrence starts taking some shots.
Could be.
I think he hones in on these 2 guys. He's not going to do anything to fuck up the game plan, and they'll probably still run as much as they can to kind of chew up the clock. But in situations where he's going to throw, I think he's going to look for those 2 to just kind of help out, right? I mean, how nice is that?
Of course.
Right? It's like, hey, man. And I'd say, and I think Jim said it today. He was like, that Zay Jones is walking up to Trevor just being like, hey, dude, I get like 18 more yards and buy your Rolex. Ooh. You're not amused. Okay, fine.
No, I mean, yeah, I would do the same thing.
I would too, actually. I would too. All right. Well, that's it, man. Those are the games. That's week 18. And away we go. As always, thank you to everybody for liking and subscribing. Adam and I will have all of our usual stuff all over the place over at Pickswise.com. I've got 3 games written up there for football. Adam's got his NBA props article that comes out on Fridays. Enjoy the week 18 games, and Adam and I are going to be crushing it for some playoff football as well. So for Adam Ronis, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Cash It Podcast. We'll catch you next time.